do you not want to support your own local labor in that country? Because that adds direct value, like that directly adds value to you. Because if you don't, you're kind of fucking yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah, Ian makes a good point. First of all, it's not my call. Even if it was, anyone could still buy them. But I think just the tariffs will be insane, as they should. If there's a different manufacturer assembling, if there's like a manufacturer and assembly relationship between China and the US with some company, maybe there would be like a good exception to make there, because you are taking the most high level jobs, like you're taking the most high level actions within the country itself, like the US, and then you're able to, you know, do assembly of whatever you've produced, which is a lower skill thing. You can do that in China, I suppose. I don't know. Many manufacturers actually do this in Europe, for instance. They would be they'd manufacture components for various many machines, and then that gets assembled in China because the labor there is cheaper, and specifically, like you can focus specifically on the assembly part. It's a relatively simple process, but if you're like trying to have the highest skilled people in the company directly where you are, also the highest paid, by the way, then you're not going to want to make these people, work assembly. No.
Yeah. Right.
You can do that, which I think that which Tesla's doing, right? Because they assemble all their cars right in house. They do a lot of things in house. They're a great example of a company that does incredible work, in my opinion.
There's a couple of things happening that I want to talk about. So just now, it just happened. Biden is going to block the sale of U.S. steel to a Japanese buyer, and yeah, in case you didn't realize, Trump already announced that that was what he was going to do first, right? So Biden is trying to take the wind out of his sails by trying to claim credit for what Trump already proposed. What a shit move. The second thing I wanted to talk about is, did you guys see the Enron, quote unquote, Enron interview with Taylor Lorenz?
uh,
So, like, they trolled her. So Enron is not actually, the original company Enron, right? It was kind of a debt thing, and I guess a bunch of guys
mhm.
bought the company, and rebranded. Well, they didn't rebrand it; they're just claiming that they're Enron, which I guess, in a sense, that they are. Anyway, they tricked Taylor Lorenz into giving them a legitimate interview. It is insane. They are trolling the absolute piss out of her.
Biometric voice identification experts did an analysis comparing Elon Musk's voice to Adrian Dittman's.
I'm just gonna embed
See
it.
below.
They're like, what the fuck is this level of academic
They
cope?
found
What the fuck?
they found that while not impossible, it is highly unlikely they are two different people.
They're two different people.
I estimate
Yeah.
that only 0.5.
When you stop to consider that Adrian Dittman added Elon to tell him he was a good dad, really get a sense of how lonely, insecure, and frankly prophetic person Elon is. Sad.
Like, bro, I, as an individual who's separate from him, cannot compliment him, really? Is that, bruh?
This is so stupid.
This day and age is called dick sucking.
But here, you know what the funniest part is? Here's what's funniest. You missed the funniest part. This part. Professor at UC Berkeley.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
God. Dude, I'm doing such a great service to everyone who hates academia right now. And they don't even know it. That
We're
is so
doomed.
funny. Wild. Just absolutely wild. Wow. I need memes. Anyone has any good memes? Stuff that's not gonna cause a civil war or anything.
I have nothing but depressing stuff.
Oh my fucking god.
Not even memes. Like, I've just been covering this the grooming gang shit that's happening in the UK. It's pretty bad. 250,000 victims, deliberately targeted by these uh, rapists, and the government just looked the other way, and in some cases arrested the girls, the victims. In some cases, arrested their parents for trying to do something about it. Just absolutely horrendous.
Wow.
And now Britain is trying to legalize both incest and marriage with 10-year-olds.
Wild. Anything
It's
else
fucked.
from the from those guys there on the other side?
Yeah. Let's see. Adrian, do you think that 4chan should be purchased by Elon with significant improvements and rule changes?
I don't really see the gain, in my opinion. I feel like that site itself, yeah, I don't think it would be worth it. No offense to anyone who's using 4chan, by the way. I kind of feel like its heyday is long since gone, and a lot of the people that made it great are becoming ever fewer on that platform. I even like look at the platform's participation, and it's like it's okay, but not something that I think he should invest money. Maybe it's different, maybe it's different, and he's gonna do that. I mean, I think the 4chan humor for sure would be quite great, but I mean, look, our first encounter here was with a bunch of people saying the most schizophrenic nonsense ever. And that was like the noisiest conversation and the highest signal conversation in the entire like on the entire platform in regards to this issue, which is I think indicative of how I think a lot of its greatness has left.
Hmm. Hey, you wanna know a funny fact about the suicide bomber?
Funny fact? Okay, sure.
Yeah. So he didn't drive straight from Denver to Las Vegas, Nevada. He actually went to the wrong Las Vegas. He went to New Mexico. And then he had to like actually go to the real Las Vegas. What a fucking dumbass.
That is
Well, I
insane.
mean, if you're gonna get lost in a Cybertruck. At least you have the amenities, the FSD, and it's probably nice and spacious.
He had to stop 8 times to recharge.
I just hope he left a positive review before he went kablooey.
Truck was very durable.
There you go. Look, it was the best last ride of my life. Would recommend and would do again. Oh wait, like just that sucks. So like, I wish Cybertruck ride were so good that it could have just changed his mind and said, you know what, never mind this shit. I want to live. And then he just like goes back home and just doesn't return the truck.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, give me something else from there. Are they saying anything else? Anything good?
Yeah, there was one thing. Hold on.
Just keep the updates rolling in.
Sure.
He could have traveled a straight route and it would have saved him many, many, many hours.
I mean, if he had already intended to blow himself up, I don't think time was his primary concern.
Well, he went to the wrong Las Vegas.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
had to
the
say
wrong
that.
one.
I was-
Adrian, you want us to
Really
buy
die.
local, but you don't want to hire local? He's like, withdraw your H-1B apps so us locals can afford your cars. Otherwise, we will lobby for cheap Chinese
Your
EVs that we
cars?
can afford.
What? Yeah, that's so schizophrenic. I can't even respond to anything in there. Next, please. You can ask me serious questions, or you can ask me troll questions. We've already had like a decent amount of the troll questions. Let's see if we can get more answers, more questions that are actually good.
Guys, also reply to questions on the space in the bottom right.
Yes.
Yeah. Guess we can't really be devoting all the attention to tard whispering on 4chan.
What the fuck?
I know. I'm terrible.
What the hell is this?
says, what are your thoughts on Gödel's incompleteness embracement?
Wait, what?
It said, what are your thoughts on Gödel's incompleteness embracement?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No.
No.
I'm not that much of a philosopher, to be honest. I really can't form a good opinion.
Is it philosophy? I mean,
It's not
isn't it
really
like just
philosophy.
math?
It's
It's just
no,
math, right?
it's not philosophy. Yeah, right. It's math. No.
Yeah, it's a logic puzzle. Well, not puzzle, but quandary.
Yeah.
So and there's two, right? He has two incompleteness theorems.
Hmm.
The first statement, I'll read them. According to Grok, the first statement is, in any consistent formal system that is sufficiently powerful to describe basic math, there will always be statements that cannot be proved or disproved within the axioms of the system. These are called undecidable statements. The second theorem is, if such a system is consistent, it cannot prove its own consistency. That is, if the system is consistent, then the consistency of the system cannot be proved within the system itself.
This reads like half of my posts. Like legit, this reads like half of my posts.
It's correct, though,
Yeah.
what he's saying. You cannot use something to prove itself. It's as simple as that. Because you need an outside observer to do so. The system within itself is unable to, prove the thing.
I think that's like
Because
that would even, by that logic, it could provide a really good argument for why, you say you have foreigners that have an opinion on, local
Mhm.
local affairs, wherever local
Yeah.
happens to be and whatever,
Yeah.
foreign happens to be within reference to whatever local is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's good to have an outside observer. That's the only way you can get an actual astute observation of a thing that is happening. It's quantum, what do you call it? When you observe something, you have to have an observer to be there to observe it. Otherwise, it's not a thing, right? And then you have Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, right? It's either a thing or not a thing until an observer decides, by observing through the act of observation, determines what the thing is. Until then, it is a quantum superposition, and that is not particularly useful when you're dealing with a very finite, what do you call it? Uh, a formal system.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's not going to function properly. You need absolutes.
Anything else?
Yeah, they're saying, why are people so scared of honest competition? Trump will be deporting the criminals, and the top 1% will remain on the H-1B.
Yeah, I don't know why people are afraid of honest competition. Is a good question. I don't know.
Terrified of it.
It's like people saying, I should not be expected to compete. Like, you want to be a global superpower, you don't want to compete with a global. Do you see how that doesn't work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they are truly the superior people, the ones who claim to be the master race or something, why are they so afraid of competition?
Exactly.
Like, I don't think anyone is superior, right?
Because they're
Just
afraid of being
silly.
outperformed. That's why.
Outperformed, out talented, out skilled, and proven wrong, right? You can't be superior if there's somebody else who's better than you. So you're trying to eliminate the competition just by preventing the competition from even competing. To me,
That's
that
one
is
of the,
it's fucking cheating. That is the that is a Nancy Kerrigan effect, right? When you slash your opponent in the fucking leg, you break her leg or whatever, and prevent her from competing so you can win. It's
that's one
pathetic.
of the main reasons why it's like a lot of these people don't want this to happen is that they're gonna get.
That's actually called
I
the
almost
Aladdin
I
method.
almost think that 40% or maybe a little bit less. The reason why they're fighting is the fear of being replaced by somebody better or being replaced by technology. I would say it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, that's why they oppose AI. And when you like, if you look at Mary Tiles, right, when she Mary Tiles Texas, when she tweets about how AI is going to be implemented in a lot of trades, look at the responses. There are so many angry people who, by the way, don't even do trades, right? They're not even in trade work, and they're talking about how no, it's not going to happen. We're going to ban it. It can't happen. Like they just start losing their fucking minds over it because they are so terrified of the fact that you will have to learn these new skills in order to compete in the marketplace. Because if you're like the one guy who is driving a horse and buggy and all the other taxi drivers are driving a car, you're basically fucked. And they don't want to be that guy, but they also don't want to learn how to drive a car. They just want to complain and stick to their old ways and then say, no, we got to prevent this from happening. Well, I'm sorry, but the march of progress will not stop for you because you are just in the way. You will be steamrolled, and that is too bad. So, fucking shape up or get the fuck out of the way.
I mean,
Get
you're
good.
not. I mean, you're not wrong, but it. That's where, you have to kind of toss up the argument. Do they want to advance or do they not? And
They don't.
this, this all boils down to this. It comes down to the same three things every single time this conversation comes. It comes down to Department of Labor, because I know there is jobs. If the Department of Labor is telling me there's zero jobs and there's zero place for any person to work, then yeah, now we have a serious problem. But that's not the case. Two, if between you and G here,
Yeah.
and three, if if you don't want to progress, i.e., go to school, take a course, whatever, in the same place. And if that's where you want to be, maybe America's not the place for you.
There are additional problems, though, like not to dismiss their concerns, but this one article is saying that there are a lot of students who want to learn trades, but there's not enough teachers. So that is a real problem. See, that is something that, right? So skills is there to teach, and that needs to be fixed. Like that is a real thing. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, now we're getting to the fucking meat of it. Okay, this is a thing that needs to actually be addressed. Teachers need to be trained in the trades, and we as a society find a way to coax a lot of tradesmen into teaching their skills and paying them. You could actually of the problem. Like a big part of the problem with colleges right now is they're not teaching stuff that is they're not learning in the networks, for example. So how the fuck are they going to learn about AI, right? They're not going to don't even know how to do it. That is something that needs to be fixed. They're not going to learn how to fucking operate. It's to be fixed. They're addressable. But when you're just afraid of competition, that is not a real problem. That's a you problem. That's a skill issue. So it is, it is multifaceted. Absolutely. When people just complain about how they're afraid of basically being who may or may not be better, but it drowns the stuff that can. The question they should ask themselves is, why are we not producing as in engineering these Russians or these Chinese or these Indians? Ask that question. To get your answer, because you'll have a. Don't just get mad. Ask why.
Exactly. Question. Adrian, why don't you encourage Indians to stay in India and work to make them advocating for?
Because he's
It's
not
not
Indian
en
and he wants
masse.
America to play.
Bring people to the U.S. Not en masse. Second of all, one of to an issue. And so imagine if you are, say, a person that through the internet has discovered that they are a highly the caste doesn't allow. Why don't you just bring this insanely capable individual to a country in which they can
Explain this, man. It's the German. They have way too many regulations. All this fuck. As a German, that I would have in the U.S.